Trustee Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, the information for the fitness center has not been provided, so I do not have a report for this evening. I know that we are still in the negative amount, just don't have the dollar amount. That information was not forwarded. So hopefully next month I can have that information and then I'll be able to share with you.
And for the record, everyone gave their report this evening. And I just want to say to the Board of Trustees, if you guys will have committee meetings, I think you guys will have information that's needed. I don't like when people get up here and say that something wasn't given to them.
All right, you guys, off to a great start as usual. We have Trustee Tammy Brown, who was supposed to give a report, but she said that she didn't get the information in time from Tiffany's administration. And like usual, Tiffany, blame shifting, saying that, you guys can just reach out to me and my administration, the same thing. Hi, you guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at a board meeting where the trustees confront Tiffany Henyard about doing some hiring because she's now wanting to get some people paid that she hired without the board's approval. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Mayor, if I can I read the corporate bills into record?
Sure.
You guys know this is when all the drama starts, okay? When Jason starts to read the corporate bills, and you guys know he's going to take some things off, right? Because they always get blindsided by certain things in there that they want more information on. Let's go ahead and get back to it. I'm not going to have him read everything, but we're going to just get back into it towards the end.
Total corporate payments on this register, $2,454,619.43. So for the payroll portion of the bills, I motion for payment of payroll for all employees that were on the payroll January 12th and before, January 12th, 2022 and before. Received the payroll list today at 4:00 p.m. So I was not able to go through that list to see any new additions or potential new additions, but there were none that were run by the board. So my motion on payroll is that any employee that was on payroll January 12th, 2022 and before be paid, all others be excluded.
So he's basically saying he wants to pay all the bills except for the payroll bills of the people that Tiffany went ahead and hired after January 12th, who were all people she hired without bringing before the board and without getting board approval. You guys, this is just what she does. She just does things, hires whoever she wants to hire without, proper background checks and stuff. Just like she hired someone who had a violent criminal history to be a code enforcer and gave him the right to go into people's houses. Okay, so that hire wasn't for the residents, because if you're going to hire someone on that type of level to have the authority to go into people's houses, you're not looking out for the residents. She hired him because he helped her with her campaign. So this is just another instance of Tiffany just hiring whoever she wants because it benefits her, when she's always claiming, it's everything she does is for the residents. But actions speak louder than words, right? And once again, you guys, these are just all my opinions. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
And then my motion on the remainder of the bills is that the remaining corporate bills is read into record, be paid with the exclusion of DLC Properties, which is on page 6 of the warrant list, $1,000 payment. EPG Chicago payment of $1,000 on page 7. Fink Safe and Lock Co., which is on page 7, $5,000. Page 12, Neighborhood Surveillance Systems, $12,129.36, and additionally excluding all manual checks. So my motion is to pay corporate bills with the exclusions noted.
All right, you guys, so we have Jason House here, taking stuff off like he usually does. That's his job, okay, to look out for the finances. And that's the trustee's job, is to look out for the finances, make sure the mayor isn't running amok with it, doing whatever she wants, because we know she loves to throw parties, because her throwing parties and all these get-togethers are a way for her to show it off at the meetings and say, hey, look what I'm doing for you guys. I'm such a great mayor. I care about you guys. And don't listen to the trustees. They're just hating. They don't do their job. They're just trying to stop progress. No, they're trying to stop you from spending, okay? Because Tiffany acts like there's no limit. It's not her money, so she really doesn't care. That's the way I feel. That's my opinion. All right, let's move on to Trustee Kiana Belcher, because you know she has some questions for Tiffany, okay?
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion?
May I be recognized?
Yep, go ahead.
There was a couple of questions. We received this on Saturday in reference to some things. No, it was late Friday. I want to be correct. In reference to some things that was on the warrant list. And Trustee House just pulled some of the items, but there were some questions about some refunds that were issued. We have 14812 Indiana, which was $1,000 refund was issued to EPG Chicago SSH LLC, but they turned over a $15,000 check to the Village of Dolton. So it was a question in reference to that, because that same day, another $1,000 check was issued to the same property, which is a house at 14812 Indiana, and then the owner was David Cannon. So we pulled that because their email that went out stating that we have to copy the village administrator and set an appointment to speak to either housing or finance or whatever. And if we got it on Friday evening, and today was the only day that we can really speak to someone, we wouldn't have accurate documents of why they paid $15,000 and only got $1,000 back. And it's a home, and two different owners have been issued checks for this particular property.
Okay, sounds like, important real estate questions. I really don't understand, but it's not about the question. I guess it's more about Tiffany's answers, because I can almost guarantee that she knows exactly what Kiana's talking about. But do you think it's going to be addressed by her? Do you think she's going to give any type of answers? We'll get to that in a little bit. But we did have a couple of other trustees who had some concerns they wanted to voice as well. Let's listen to Trustee Ed Steve and Brittany Norwood.
Okay, anything else? Steve, go ahead.
My only concern with this warrant list is $625,000 in warrants and checks printed after the warrant list. That means after we got the warrant list, they issued $625,000 worth of checks. Money's been spent, so there's no checks and balances. We're getting warrant list lates. We're getting all this stuff after the fact, so we have time to really look at it. So we have to set meetings with department heads, but like Trustee said, we got a Saturday, and then Monday you can't really set no department head meeting with anybody to ask these questions. So that's my concern, is just spending without no proper time given to the board to review, to make these decisions. It's just last minute for us. So
okay, yes, he makes a valid point. It makes sense. If you have any semblance of sanity, then you would be like, yes, Trustee Steve, you are hitting the nail on the head. You got something there. You should be getting the information before time. Okay, before getting to these meetings, you should be able to get in contact with people. So if you have questions about the bills, they can answer them in time before you get to the meeting. Well said. Let's go ahead and listen to Trustee Brittany Norwood.
Oh, yeah, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I'm just wondering when we receive the credit card bills. I know it's been like a month or two since we received the credit card bills. So since we're going over corporate bills, I was just wondering, do we have them, or will we receive them, and when we will receive them, if so?
All right, anybody else?
was that a question?
Yeah, it's a question.
You're not the trustee asking. I'm gonna say my statement so we're not going back and forth. Everybody get out whatever they want to say, and then I will respond. Thank you, sir.
You guys, look at her little smirk, okay? She's like, yes, I heard her question, but you know what? I'm just working on my gaslighting performance. I'm working on my grandstand here that, I'm just going to wash over all you guys' questions, and I'm going to blame shift. I'm going to throw up the usual smoke and mirrors once you guys get done, and then you won't even know where you started. Because that's our plan, is to ruffle people's feathers, to get them, just all in a huff, and try to make them forget about what they're there for, is to pay the bills. But most importantly, not to just pay the bills, but to pay them right, to pay them responsibly, They should have the right to ask questions at a board meeting, you guys. It's common sense. But you got to remember that common sense is not that common. And remember who we're talking about here, Tiffany Henyard. But you know, the interesting thing is, when she was a trustee and she had questions, do you think that she would let those questions just go and she would just vote for whatever the mayor wanted her to? Let's go ahead and take a little trip back in time and let's see what Trustee Tiffany Henyard had to say about not getting things in time.
Chris, you find the answer to my question?
Not yet. I gotta see where I don't have access to the billing from here. So when I get to, I can look into it and get you an answer.
So you don't know why y'all charge us $28,000, and is that for just 1 month or several months? Do you know that at least?
I know that it's for work that we've done for you guys over the last month and a half, but I don't have the invoice in front of me, and I don't have access to the invoices from my computer.
Okay, well, look, I think you need to come here more equipped, because I'm going to always have questions about this warrant list, and you never have an answer, especially as it relates to your billing of $28,000. I at least thought you could tell me, trustee, this is from April to May. You can't even tell me that. Who put this together? Someone put this together so it can go before the board. So when y'all put it together, we're voting on what you guys write. So I'm saying that make sure it's accurate and correct so that I'm giving the right vote, per se. I have to ask a million more questions just to get gloves out of a PW shop. That's crazy. That's all I'm saying.
That is crazy, Trustee Henyard, huh? That's insanity that you have to sit there and ask questions about information you should have received before the board meeting. Wow, imagine how that works when you're in the other chair. All right, let's fast forward to Mayor Tiffany Henyard and let's see her response to the trustees now asking her the same type of questions.
Anybody else? Everybody got everything out that they wanted to say? All right, as relates to anything that happens here at the Village of Dolton, when we send out the warrant list to the Board of Trustees, it is 24/7 that you work as an elected official. If you get it late on time, you still have time to reach out to myself. As I stated in several meetings, call my phone. I work 24/7. My phone is never off. If a board member has a issue, a debate as relates to a warrant list up here, as relates to a Monday, you stated that Monday you don't have time to reach out to talk to a department head. You do. You can call Keith Freeman. He is always available. And matter of fact, in our email, we stated if anybody has questions over the weekend, we are all available to answer any questions that the board may have. What I don't like is we get at these board meetings and we grandstand on things that we could have got answers to before we got here. And then it looks like we're just debating and fighting amongst each other.
So as we can see the drastic change and the double standards between Trustee Tiffany Henyard and Mayor Tiffany Henyard, okay? Because as a trustee, she was demanding the exact same thing that the trustees now are demanding. But now that she's mayor, you know, it's the same old broken record over and over at every board meeting when the trustees are trying to hold her and her administration, you know, accountable for not getting them the information that they desperately need to vote on these things, or shall I say to make an informed vote on these things. Now that she's the one holding the seat, she's starting to make up her own rules, and they're starting to look a little bit like the old rules of the old mayor. And then the trustees are starting to sound like the old trustee Tiffany Henyard, right?
So if everybody would, again, my cell number is 708-297-6859. You guys can reach out to me or reach out to Keith Freeman. I don't know your cell number by heart, but you can reach out to any of us and we will answer any questions that the board may have. So it's been motioning and seconding. You guys have retracted certain things from the warrant list, so we can call the roll. So we can
There's still discussion. I'm sure somebody else wants.
You can do one more. We can do one more. Then
one more. What I'm sure other trustees have something to say. But let me finish my point. Let me finish my statement.
Trustee, 1 second. You just made your statement for the record. That's why I waited till the end to make my statement so that we can move forward, so it don't be a back and forth.
No, what she's really trying to say, I let you guys talk. I let everyone talk so I can have the last word. And that's a classic narcissistic move, you guys. And no, I'm not a psychologist, but You know, I do a little Google research here and there, and it has become my personal opinion that Tiffany Henyard is a narcissist because she continually displays a bunch of traits that go in line with being a textbook narcissist. Let me know if you guys agree with that down in the comments. But like I said, I'm not a professional. These are just my own opinions from watching things as they unfold. Let's continue.
Because at the end of the day, you made your statement that you guys wanted to pay certain bills. It's on the record. So we're going to call the roll and move forward, back and forth to do what?
I still have more input.
Okay, go ahead.
Discussion's not
Go
over
ahead,
with.
make your input.
We passed an ordinance that all hire and fires have to run through the board. It's not being followed. Saturday, I should not get the bill Saturday. None of us should get the bill Saturday. Sunday, nothing. We just got the payroll reports. We don't know what's being spent. It's not personal towards the employees. We're just trying to do our job to oversee the taxpayers' money. And it's spent now without checks and balances. This whole thing about we're trying to hurt people, we pass ordinances and laws that this administration is not following. That's the only reason. All that hires after January, like Trustee House said, was not come across. Public Works, I don't know how many people are over there right now. We don't even have payroll reports. They just sent us the payroll report yesterday. That's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to do our jobs and be responsible with the taxpayers' money.
Well said, Trustee Ed Steve. So there you have it, you guys. The trustees, they're constantly fighting to do the right thing, and that's their job, is to look out for the taxpayers' money. As we see, Tiffany Henyard, she just doesn't really care because it's not her money, all right? But she's able to constantly do this because she still has people around her that support her, that are there for her, that give her the yeses that she needs. And that's why she's still able to continue on this path of destruction that she is on and bringing Dolton with her. That is my opinion. So you guys, once again, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
It's unacceptable. And we would just sit here and just vote for everything. And you look up and when it's budget time come, we're broke or with stuff that's overspent. Guess who's going to get the blame for that? We will get the blame for that.